Welcome guys to another episode of Eye of Terror, and I'm your channel host Adam, and today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming releases for Necromunda. Just today, as the day that I filmed this video, Warhammer TV just had their update or preview on Gang War 3 as well as upcoming releases for Necromunda, and then showed off a battle report between Vansar and Orlox with some pretty interesting characters. Haven't watched it all yet. I still got to watch the battle report in the last bit of the preview, but I thought what I would do is possibly break it down into two segments. First half is the review, and then after I'm done watching the second half, bring that down to you too, as well, as long as I have the time. So let's just get right into it. So the preview is happening today, going over Gang War 3, like I said, which is due to go out in pre-order, I think, in another couple of weeks or so. I don't have the exact date off the top of my head, but it does definitely have me extremely excited for it because there's lots of good changes that the folks over at Warhammer TV were talking about. So, first one up, which is a big one, which will affect every single player, every gang out there, is the updated weapons lists and trading posts weapons lists. So now they're starting to compile all the weapons finally into one big trading post with all the rarity and costs and everything else, which is really, really good. So because at this point in time, there's some weapons that don't have the rarity levels, and some weapons that don't have credits officially in the Gang War books. So it makes it really hard to find when you're flipping through all these different pages. So now they're all compiled into one resource, which is Gang War 3. Obviously, it can be expanded again as Warhammer or Games Workshop feels needed as they bring in more content for the game. But not only was the trading post weapons list upgraded in this book, but also there's going to be updated house weapons list, so like your Goliath weapon list for starting gangs, and that is also going to be upgraded, so that's also in this book, and that's going to be based off of the releases from Forge World, so the upgrade weapon kits that they've done. So far Escher has their weapon upgrade kits, and Goliath will be out shortly ish, maybe, who knows, I haven't seen the date again, so but sometime in the near future. So that's going to be some pretty cool information there, and it's going to bring lots of changes to the game, which is good, because change can be a very good thing or it could be really bad, but I think this will be more good than bad, so excellent. Moving right along, hanger-ons. So the hanger-ons, there's some really cool ones in the sense that you have brutes that are coming out. So these are like your big sort of the Ambot style hanger-ons. So the rules for them are going to be in, and how to acquire them and everything else will be in Gang War 3. But they also mentioned something about slave ogre, and they were discussing basically that these creatures, even though they're big and strong and stuff like that, might not always act in the same way that you want them to act. They'll have their own like unique rules for that, because they can't just be all burly, strong and tough and crush faces all the time. They got to have some sort of drawback to them for balance wise. So the rules for the brutes are going to be in Gang Wars 3. They did touch base on that, so that is good, and I am looking forward to that. But also including in hanger-on, so is you also have your pets. I really want some pets. The Cyber Mastiff, which I'll show you here. It is a great little model. I'm gonna buy one as soon as it's released. I'm pre-ordering it, and I'm gonna have one. I love the look of the Cyber Mastiff. It is fantastic. So they're another type of hanger-on that you can give to like your leaders and champions, stuff like that. So they talked about a few different ones in there. So they got the gang-specific ones, and there's ones that are sort of available to all gangs. So you have your Cyber Mastiff, as mentioned. Then you have your Sump Croc. After the Sump Croc, you have your Fear Cat, which is the Escher one. I should say the Sump Croc is also a Goliath-based pet. And then you have the Cyber Achnid, which is the Vansar pet. It's sort of like the weird spider-like creature. It's going to be pretty cool. And so I sort of I'm sort of looking at that as like some of the from Star Wars, like the spider-like walkers. That's what I hope that it's going to be like, where it shoots lots of guys and sort of like a tanky sort of spider to crawl around the battlefield. I think that will be pretty cool. Caryatids. I've never heard of these things before because I'm new to Necromunda, but I guess these things have been Necromunda for years. But they're like little sort of like vampiric like babies with wings and blue colored, and they sort of gather around people that have a purpose or some sort of strong fate. But fate can be fickle, so they can give you good bonuses or boons, and they can also give you banes as well. So basically how your model's performing, you would get some bonuses from them. So they were mentioning one during this where you have to make a willpower check. Say once a round you're shot, and you can choose to use this ability. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, unfortunately, but you use this ability once per round, and if you're shot at this, you can make a willpower test to completely negate the shot, and that's sort of like the strands of fate coming and helping your character. But I guess with this Caryatids, it's sort of like a double-edged sword, like I said, because you do get some sort of drawback from them as well. So I'm really looking forward to see that one. And it is one of the only pets that you don't have to pay for. You just have to be able to find it through rarity and stuff like that, through the trading post actions. But some of the cool things about pets, the pets aren't a stagnant based model. They actually progress like heroes and stuff like that. They can take wounds and everything along those lines, which is pretty cool. So they were talking about some of the skills that the Cyber Mastiff could have. So there's one where, or the ability slash skills I should say, because there's one where the Cyber Mastiff, when you are seriously injured in combat, or at all, the Cyber Mastiff will basically like stand over top of you, protecting you. So that way, if anybody tries to coup de grace you, it prevents that from happening. And then another one was the Sump Croc, where it has like a countercharge ability. So if you go to charge the hero that it's attached to, it will countercharge you and get like a Gaping Maw style attack against you before your charge goes off. So that's pretty cool and pretty neat. I think that will change the game dynamics drastically. And I look forward to getting like the Cyber Mastiff, like I said. And listening to the way they were talking even, it appears that the Sump Croc is going to be a huge model, and I would like to see that on a board. So moving right along from that, they have mentioned and we're discussing a bunch of different dramatis personae, so basically like hired guns and hanger-ons that you can bring into your faction. I should say hired guns, not hanger-ons, but that you can bring into your game for once around and stuff like that. So they have, as I said, the Cyber Mastiff, which is Macula, but they have Slate, which is the Orlock only hanger-on, who has the huge like power hammer, and then the converted plasma pistol, which actually they mentioned has like a range of a plasma gun, not a plasma pistol. So that's pretty cool. I'm just curious if it still has the pistol keyword there, because that is just dangerous and quite good for paired weapons. Some of the other ones that they mentioned as well that they have models that are coming out for is the Grendelson, which at the time of filming, it comes out the next day on pre-order, so that should be available by this time this video is up. So check that out on the Forge World link, and Forge World page, I should say. They also showed off a new model, I believe a Escher-based hanger-on, Belladonna. Again, not a lot of information on her, but they showed off the model, and this was a quick watch from it. I tried to get as much information as I could, and I probably am missing things 100%. Actually, I know I'm missing things because I didn't even finish watching it, the entirety of the segment. So yeah, so those are some of the dramatis personae that they're going to be bringing out. So it's not just ones that everybody can hang or hire. There's going to be ones that are gang specific as well, like I said, because like that Slate guy, he's only for the Orlocks, and I'm believing Belladonna will only be for the Eschers. So that's pretty cool. Moving right along, they have a huge section on updating the campaign mission. So I guess right now we have one style of turf war, but going into Gang War 3, they're introducing multiple different different styles of turf wars, and they gave them all different names, and each one sort of has a main feel to it. So like right now, as they were explaining it, the turf wars that we have now in Gang War 1 and 2 are based on growing your turf and growing your reputation, where these other ones are going to be like based on gaining more credits or other sort of focuses. So with these new campaigns, let's say, there's going to be new arbitrator rules and themes that they can throw into the campaign, where they have like let's say like campaign events. So they had, I think it was something like 6 pages worth of campaign events. That is like a large chart you can roll on and you can see what happens throughout the campaign. Some of them will give you credits, some of them will give you extra like gangers, some of them will be like affect the battles that you're playing. So it might, like a monster might appear that you just have to sort of defend as you're also defending attacks from your enemy as well. So lots of neat, sort of interesting ways to change the style of gameplay and keep it sort of dramatic and fun, and add to the story for sure. But not only on that, the campaign's also getting new, I guess, house favors is what they called them. House favors are basically people that are falling behind in the reputation, or even if you're ahead in the reputation. You can roll on this chart. They were saying it's 2d6, and it's based off of your reputation compared to your opponent's reputation. And what happens is you can call on aid from your house, and you roll on this chart, and based off your modifiers, you could, I guess, high is good, I believe, and low is bad. And so they said if you rolled like a 2, they said that you could be punished, and I think they would like take something from you. I don't know if you'd lose reputation or turf, I can't remember. But at other times they could send extra credits, they could send extra war gear, characters to come help you, like a champion. They mentioned that if you rolled a 13, I think, they send you a champion to your gang, to attach to your gang, that comes with 2d6 experience and like 150 credits worth of war gear, which is pretty cool. So that is some really interesting stuff coming our way for Necromunda. If I've missed anything, or if you want to add anything, make sure you mention those in the comments below. Or even if I misinterpreted some of the information that I had, because again, I got 3 kids. As I'm trying to like multitask between dealing with the kids and you know, listening to this video and stuff like that, I'm trying to take notes so that way I could share them with everybody, as well as trying to get screenshots of all the images and stuff like that, of all the different models. So if I missed anything or if I misinterpreted the information, please let me know in the comments below, so that way we can all share, and that way everybody else can get as hyped as we are about the upcoming release for Gang War 3 Vansars, as well as from Forge World with Grendelson and Slate and MacLeod the dog. The Cybermassive looks familiar, fantastic. Oh my goodness. Anyhow guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ignite your hobby.